We're live. Welcome to another Monday Live, and to all my Canadian friends watching today, either live or afterwards, happy Thanksgiving. Today, like every other day, I'm thankful for everyone who takes time out of their day to join me and my amazing guests as we raise the vibration and share the positive. Every week at noon Eastern, I invite you to join me here on YouTube live, and I introduce you into another before we for the first one to show affirmation deck. So either the I am vibrational orange or the I am sacred. So while I'm waiting for somebody to pop up on the screen there and just give me orange or green, I'm going to light my candle, hopefully, if my fan above doesn't blow it out. Okay, we have liftoff. Candles lit, we're all ready to go. So give everyone a couple more minutes to see which deck. And I wanted to share this week's weekly reading, which is called Lift and Separate. And no, ladies, I'm not talking about bras, but instead it is time to separate from what is not serving us to be uplifted. And this is why I'm feeling so excited that I have my guest today, because I'm sure all this is going to come out and be part of it. Well, Hema, what I'm going to do is ask you to choose which deck you would like, because I think we have some shy guests on today, or some shy visitors. So either the orange deck or the green deck.
I'm going to go with the orange, Debbie.
Orange. Okay, let me just see. Shuffle away. Oh, gosh. And there's a card that has come out. She says if I can put the rest of them over here. Every week when I do this, the card synchronizes with what we're going to talk about. Card number 29, I am the magic in my vibrational life. And that is so true. And when we accept that and invite it in, oh my gosh, the amazing changes that can happen. So our conversation today is expansive secrets, which is very exciting. Let me introduce my guest, Hema Vyas. So Hema is a renowned speaker on heart wisdom, human consciousness, spirituality, health, energy medicine, and the science of Ayurveda. I think I've said that correctly. It's always one of those that doesn't quite wrap around my mouth properly. For almost 30 years, she has been practicing as a psychologist and life leadership mentor. Her work is about connecting timeless wisdom to solve the problems of modern times, especially by understanding the significance of the heart that she describes as a portal to higher consciousness and to creative expanse. Hema's mission is to provide a direct experience of the power of the heart and move people into what she ultimately or uniquely terms as a state of gold. I love that because I use gold a lot in my work. Nothing can tarnish or destroy the sustainable and highly valuable element of gold. So when we evacuate all that is not who we really are, we become aware of our true selves. And I love that. So welcome, Hema. Thank you for joining me today to share. So let's get this conversation started.
Wonderful. Thank you, Debbie. Lovely to be here.
So could you share more about the significance of gold in your purpose and branding? Because as I said, I use gold in mine, but there's so many infinite ways. So do share.
So, it's a very complex sort of answer. There's lots of strands to it, but I'll share the one that comes to mind. There's, lots of synchronicities that have led to this point.
Yeah.
The main one is that my name, Hema, in Indian, means golden.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But
how perfect is that?
But also, when I was very young, Debbie, I'll share with you, I had a beautiful dream, and I won't go into the dream, but years later, I was with this lovely woman who was a very renowned dream specialist. And when I told her the story, and I said it stayed with me for ever since I was a child, that dream stayed with me. It was very evocative. And I remember she's, her saying to me, well, you know what that means? And I said, well, no, I really don't, but it freaked me out, whatever the dream was. And she said, well, it means you've got a golden heart, or a heart of gold.
Wow.
Yeah.
So even at that early stage, there was a significant piece of the puzzle placed there, ready for you to, I always say, open and go on the adventure. I always say to people, it's like in The Wizard of Oz, when they go on the yellow brick road, because they're all pulled there for whatever reason, whatever purpose that they need. And here they are following this road that they hope is going to lead them to where they need to go. And I love that. So I've noticed, especially at the moment, that the Ayurveda market is really on a huge growth trajectory. So do you think we understand the richness of this enough and how it can assist us?
No, Ayurveda is a lifelong learning, because, people sort of don't understand that Ayurveda is so much, it's everything. It is actually the expansiveness of the universe. And as we grow in our knowledge and our consciousness, actually Ayurveda grows. There's more and more knowledge. It's like one of those beautiful kind of scriptures that when you read it and you go back to it when you've grown a few years later, you learn something new, you learn something different. And I say that after all these years, I've grown up with, like, my mum was an Ayurvedic doctor, all of her brothers, and that's about 7 of them, Ayurvedic doctors. Her father was an Ayurvedic doctor. So, I come from a whole lineage of Ayurvedic doctors. But I would say even now, I'm still learning. I still wake up on mornings and go in my meditation or something I've read, and I go, oh my God, I get it. I get it in a way that I never got it before. So, I really feel it's a very, very rich kind of life science. And I think that anybody who thinks they've understood it all, actually doesn't really know all of it.
So do you think it's like, I'm one of these people, I'm out, and when I'm out and about, I happen to come across a book, whether it's in a jumble sale, a rummage sale, or in a bookstore, and I'm drawn to that book. And I maybe start to read it and I go, no, I'm not ready for it at the moment. Then I put it in my bookshelf, and then it's like years later, out pops that book. It's just that timing that it's there. So I feel like you, that when we get information, it's like, this is the right time to have it, because if you'd have had it too earlier on, you wouldn't have understood it in its fullness, or it may have taken you in a completely different direction.
Absolutely. It's really interesting, Debbie, because I believe that, the universe, there is no time. So therefore, it's about alignment. When things align beautifully, then that knowledge becomes priceless. And that knowledge becomes something that takes you on your journey, further on your journey. And so, I really love that, because I do that a lot. I have books, and at the time I have to have it, but then I can't read it for love or money. And then
I know.
someone down the line, you go, oh my God, why didn't I read this earlier? But of course, it wouldn't have had the same significance.
Yes, I find, the other thing is that people come into my life and they say, oh, et cetera, and I go, I think I got a book on that. And then I come across a book, I'm like, why haven't I read this? But then maybe the purpose of that book was for that person at that time. This is where I love that we get these infinite possibilities, little breadcrumbs that are sprinkled around.
I think you might have to go down. Do you think I message her, Julie?
Okay, we've come back. I don't know if anybody caught any of that conversation, but it's like that we get these little breadcrumbs that are sent to us, and we get these opportunities. So in your work, What is the true role of the heart?
So basically, you know, the heart for me is the center of everything, because the heart is both the portal to higher consciousness, as you read out in my bio, but also light, and also the thank you. Thanks.
Just to let you know, Hema's in the UK, so there you're what, about 5:30 there, so you're really getting into darkness. We're just starting our lunchtime here, so
Exactly, and it's autumnal here, so it's, you
yeah.
know, yeah. So, but it's also the thing that grounds us in our human existence, and it also connects us with the Earth's electromagnetic field. And therefore, when we are aligned in our hearts, I think we're aligned with the Earth's electromagnetic field, we are aligned with the cosmic energetic field, and therefore we are able to live our lives with purpose and prosperity. And really, that's what I think we're here for as human beings. That's why we're here. And so all of my work is about helping people, you know, break free from being stuck in the cycle of fear or, you know, survival, and feeling like, what's the point, what's the purpose of life, and really getting them back into their heart space, really clearing out a lot of stuff that we've held, you know, ancestrally, and
Right.
from past lives, or from, you know, from other people, from our families and ancestors. So really, it is really the core of everything that I do, whether it's business or whether it's, you know, spiritual, whether it's personal. It is the center of everything.
And I think especially at this moment when we're more in isolation, that what I always say, these demons reappear in our lives from things that sometimes we may have thought, oh, I've dealt with that, I've let that go, it's gone, and then all of a sudden it rears its little ugly head, and then we're caught in it. So in those moments, what are great things to do for us? I know, you know, I always say, face your demons, don't bury them again, because they'll keep popping up.
Exactly. I do too. That's what I say, that, you know, at the end of the day, well, the thing is, it creates density. You know, anything we're in denial of, anything we're not owning, anything we're not dealing with and actually metabolizing, sits in our heart space. And it creates these patterns, you know, these stories that people have about what's not working. You know, that's just density in our hearts. That's just a pattern of something we haven't fully understood the truth about. And, you know, and it becomes real experiences, and it's really just a wake-up call to begin to clear the stuff that needs clearing, from my perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm fully with you there, because, you know, a lot of people say to me in my work, so why am I here? What's my purpose? And the one thing that I always say is turn up and be present in that moment, because you're here for that reason. And I think we sometimes get to this outside theory that there's this bigger thing, whereas we then make ourselves look small because we feel that we're not doing something really big and expansive. But if we actually stop to think, we are. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So what is an expansive secret to the universe?
Well, I think, you know, there's so many. I think it's sort of, you know, contextual, but it's exactly something that you just talked about, that when people are sitting there, what is my purpose? I think one of the things that we need to realize is that, you know, we've grown in a society where we think that purpose is about what we're doing in terms of our work or our career, or, you know, that we have to be doing something significant. And I think it's about recognizing that sometimes maybe our purpose is to really heal our hearts, because, you know, everything works on vibration. And so when we are vibrating at a higher level of consciousness, by simply clearing away, you know, things that no longer serve us, things that might have belonged to another time, another place, when it doesn't here, you know, that alignment with the universe, you know, now is not the time to be having those experiences or feeling those feelings, because that might have existed at another time in another space. And when we recognize that, we find that our purpose is twofold. There is what we do in the world in terms of how we are of service, but I think that our purpose is also about, you know, recognizing who we are being.
Yes, I truly love that. And I shared this with you earlier, and I'm going to share it with the audience now. When I was out walking along the beach on Lake Erie, I came across this beautiful rock, which I feel is heart-shaped. And I didn't, you know, just come across it. There's lots of pebbles on the beach there. There's lots of rocks and things to distract me. And I do get distracted because I pick up things. And usually by the end of the walk, I've got pockets full of pebbles and rocks and pieces of sea glass. But this one, it was like Spirit basically said, pick this up. And, you know, the sun shone on it, and it was like that, oh, kind of thing. So I picked it up. And what I love about it is exactly what you're saying here, is that we are not all smooth and clean and, you know, finely polished, if you like, because here right in the center, there's some little dents here. There's some little scratches, some breaks, I suppose. Here, there's like a little gash here in where it's coming apart and things like that. And it shows here there's all these different levels. So tell us more about these different levels of our heart and how you work with that.
Can I just say, I love that you found that beautiful, and it looks heart-shaped to me as well. When as soon as you showed it to me, but it was
really so synchronistic.
What color is it, Debbie? It looks green from where I'm sitting.
It's a gray, like a gray pebble, but it's the layers that I loved on it, because it's like these contours, I should say, not layers, just the contours around it, where it actually gives it a different shape depending upon where you're looking at it. And of course, the back is all beautiful and smooth, but it is like a gray green with some little fissures, I suppose. Oh, that's right, I can never get this correct. Little fissures of white or light going in there, like all the. If I was to say,
I think I might have lost you, Debbie, but so maybe I'll just come back to your question. You know, the layers of the heart.
Yes.
Yeah. It looks beautiful, the stone. It really is beautiful.
Thank
so
you.
I love the simplicity of it. But you know, it is exactly that. We're not perfect, and we're not here to be perfect, because again, that is part of fitting in with the whole.
Yes.
You know, it is our individuality, it is our uniqueness. Like that stone probably fit perfectly with what was around it, and that's why it created the shape that it created.
Yes.
And with us, you know, it's recognizing that, you know, we have an impact on others, others have an impact on us. And therefore, you know, again, you know, it's about recognizing the more we can be truly who we are, we give others permission to be who they are, flaws and all, because it is a flaw that give us that depth and that dimension that allows us to experience things differently to everybody else. And that's part of the heart experience, because with our hearts, you know, everybody is so unique, and there's billions of people, and have been so many billions of people, you know, in the past and our history. How are we all so different? And I think it's exactly that, because our hearts are infinite, we are infinite, and the universe is infinite, and therefore there are infinite possibilities, and each of our imperfections makes us uniquely who we really are, because it shapes our reality and how we see it and how we feel about it.
And of course, this rock didn't start off this shape, this smooth, or in its perfection that I saw it. Now, somebody else going along there may have said, it's not quite ready yet. It's not perfect enough. It's not heart-shaped enough. So it's like we seem to be drawn to it when we're ready. And especially at the moment with the, I bring it up again, the isolation, that we're being given this opportunity to delve inside, even if we don't want to meditate, to be in our beingness rather than in our doingness, as I call it. And this is where sometimes we're frightened of that, because it's like, I'm not used to this. I'm always busy, busy, busy. I'm always doing. And now it's like, you have this silence, you have this quietness, and this opportunity to go in there and play. And of course, some people may go, oh, no, I don't want to go in there. This is like uncharted territory for me. So what would you say to those who are used to personal growth being more of an individual journey?
Mm-hmm. So, I think that with this pause that we've had, this global pause has been a real opportunity. But I think, it's one of those things that in our hindsight, I think more people will recognize it for that and think, oh God, I should have done so much more. Already I'm hearing so much of that, that at the beginning, like people were just, I think, two things, from my perspective. I think at the beginning, I think everybody was probably working so hard at doing, whether you were working or not, the fact is everybody was doing so much that when we had to stop, it was really, really a welcome break, and really sort of, oh, great, we get to stop. And then I think the sort of, maybe the sort of, the reality of what was going on in the external world began to hit people, and then it brought up a bit of anxiety, or maybe a bit of, uncertainty, perhaps, is where you think, well, what's going to happen? And so you don't then look to go inside. You start wanting to fix your external world, don't you? Yeah. Oh, I better do something. I better,
And it's funny because a lot of people that I know are like, well, I'm going to give the house a good clean through. I'm going to sort out the yard, the garden. I'm going to do this. I'm going to mend all those things. So it was almost like they still had to be in the busyness.
Yes.
And then it was like everything was fixed. Everything was done. Everything was in perfection to what we wanted. And it's like, now what?
Yes.
And I think this is where some people still are a little sort of, okay, let me just sit out here for a little while, rather than going on their journey, their spiritual journey, their purpose, as I always say, because this is what I say to people, your purpose is. So what do you feel will be the benefits or the key benefits in learning together at the moment?
So, I think that it's always lovely, because you're always nervous about your experiences when you're doing it on your own. Am I doing this right? Oh my God, that was overwhelming. I had this vision, or I had this dream, or I had this experience in meditation or in yoga or writing or whatever it might be. When we're doing it together, that's so validating, because, we realize that even though we're all unique, we're all going through a lot of the similar things, and we're all experiencing similar things. So it's wonderful to go, oh, I had that experience too, and you did, and what did you do with it? And how can I learn from you? And also, bringing us all together, because we are going through all of this together. If there's one thing that we have in common, it's what's happening in the world, because it's incredible. And so I think part of learning together is really that it gives you that security, that stability of knowing that you're not alone, that somebody's going to have an answer. Somebody's going to have some wisdom to share with you. You are going to have some wisdom that's going to change somebody's life. And that can be purpose too. Like I say, purpose isn't just about the career and how we're being of service. Sometimes it's just saying something nice to somebody, or sharing something with somebody, and you don't know what difference it makes to somebody's life. And that's why this way of connecting, you're in Canada, I'm in the UK at the moment. And, here we are, we're having a conversation.
Having this beautiful conversation and sharing. And what I love about it is that everybody comes with, especially in group learning, everybody comes with a different perspective.
Yes.
And sometimes it tweaks something or ignites something within us. It's like, I never thought of it like that before. And then we see things in a different perspective, and it takes us off on another journey. And that's what I love about it, because it's like this ever evolving things. Like, you know, with my decks, when I create them with the sole purpose that I've been divinely given from spirit. And then somebody comes along and says, I use it for this. And it's like, I never thought of that before. So it's like this different perspective now that I can share with everybody else. Hey, this particular person that had, so I love that, this learning together, this being able to be what I call like a group collective, that, you know, and especially when we're drawn together in situations to work with like-minded souls, or those that are on that particular part of their journey, we don't feel scared anymore, because it's like, I'm not alone. You know, a bit like the yellow brick road. You know, I've got other people here. They're here for their own purpose, but here we are as this little group collective, chugging along here, just going in the direction that we need to. And maybe I'm going to help this person, or they're going to help me, or between us, we're all going to help somebody else. And that's what I love. The opportunity that we have at the moment is to do that. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. I thought I was going to sneeze, but it probably will come out. Oh, see, that's what happens in live shows. So, what do we need most? What do we need most right now as individuals and as a collective?
I think we need more love. Oh, bless you. I think we
Thank
need
you.
that spirit. Spirit.
I know.
I love that. You know, there's so much fear, and we associate fear with uncertainty.
Yeah.
We associate fear with change. We associate fear with, you know, like, you know, the sort of everything that's going on with the virus and everything. There's so much fear.
Yeah.
And that's when we can tune in. Instead of being so externally focused, we can come into ourselves and learn to be still within ourselves, and learn to connect with that sense of love and purpose that is within us, because then the outside world is no longer so fearful. And as individuals, if we can begin to feel and resonate with love, then we begin to experience something different in ourselves, but we're able to also convey that energy to others around us. And so because we are connecting as a collective, we are connecting in the group sort of setting, you know, throughout the world, I think that it allows that resonance to grow. And, you know, one of the things that I say repeatedly, which is a cliche that I love, which is, you know, together we are greater than the sum of all our parts.
Yes, I love that. But that's something we forget, that I think a lot of our world, I don't know if it was forced us or directed us or aligned us, that it was, we had to achieve this alone, we had to do this, we had to be the best we could be. And sometimes that was at the expense of those around us, whether it was we had to give up something to do this job, that I couldn't spend more time with my family, or I had to lose this friendship, or things like that. And I think now that whole turnaround, if you like, is now, you know what, come with me. Let's do this. You know, parents that are teaching kids at home now, and people that are doing things that they would have usually bought in a shop or something like that in a store, they're now making that, or they're creating that, and they're moving into different experiences, which I think is beautiful. And of course, when it's heart-centered, it's even more perfect. That's the way it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
you know, one of the things that came out of the sort of lockdown from all the people I was speaking to is because everybody has such busy lives, you know, and so everybody was just eating on the go pretty much. And then all of a sudden, everybody was talking about the fact that it was really nice to come back to home cooking and with the family and eating with the family or whoever else, flatmates, partners, loved ones, whatever. And so, I think it's so important, because that's such a fundamental part of Ayurveda. The sort of backbone of Ayurveda, even though it's huge, the sort of core of it is really about, food and digestion. And when you think the way we've been eating, in the past probably wasn't serving us. So, I hope people keep that up, like eating at home and eating together, eating as a family. It's so nourishing, so much more nourishing than, just quick takeaways or whatever.
I remember many years ago when I was living in the UK, I got an opportunity to spend some time with a family in France, and in Paris of all places. Like, if you're going to do it well. And
Right.
That whole experience in my life, because I had a young son, and so I was always like on the go. So for me, eating something while I was trying to feed him, and change nappies and all that kind of thing, diapers for all my North American friends. But when I went there, what I loved about it was the conversations that happened over lunch. And lunch was not a quick meal. You would have what I call maybe the starter or the appetizer to start with, and you would sit there and have this conversation. Of course, it's me and my doing this going, maybe I should clear the dishes. And like, no, this is all part of this whole thing. So I think we're getting back to that, of having the conversation. There's not the rush. There's not the race. It's just about enjoying the food. And in fact, sometimes, even when I'm doing stuff, I have to remind myself, if I'm eating breakfast, slow down, because otherwise it's like, it's in. I've got lots to do today. It's in. And then it doesn't digest properly, as you said. And of course, that also goes for things that we put into ourselves, our thoughts, the feelings, the words of others. If we can't digest them, it's like I always say, spit it out, get it out of you. So, Expansive Secrets to the Universe. You've got an online course coming up on October the 21st.
That's right, yes.
Please share, because we're talking about working in groups. We're talking about online, being able to deal with the heart. And I say deal with the heart, I mean work with the heart. So share, please.
So thank you for bringing that up. I'm really looking forward to it. So it's my online signature course. It's on three of the 5 pillars. So the 5 pillars, I say, are health, wealth, love, passion, and purpose. And we need all of them in balance. Some might need one more than the other, but we need all of them to be balanced beautifully in our own lives in order to be able to flow with the heart energy and to be able to really live that life of gold, that I talked about. And so this particular course is a 6-week course. So it covers, we're going to be covering Ayurveda, and just, some of the sort of more basics about Ayurveda and how important it is that we understand those concepts in terms of how we live a healthy life. You and I were speaking before we jumped on live about the importance of learning about immunity. We don't have to go out and reach for medication or vaccines, or, we can look at protecting ourselves in a multitude of ways, in the way that, Indigenous people have for lifetimes.
Yes.
So, we can do that. I'm not saying we can't have medication or we can't have vaccination. I'm saying that we can also strengthen our immune system, and Ayurveda and eating in an Ayurvedic lifestyle, through an Ayurvedic lifestyle is one of the ways that you can do that, especially preventing flus and natural things like that. So it's really important for that. The other one is about health, and that's about health. The other one is about love supreme, understanding love, understanding the expansive cosmic secrets about love and what love really means, as opposed to how we've understood it, why we misunderstood it, how we've lost connection with, you know, those loving relationships and what we can do to come back to it.
Mm.
The other one, the first one that we're going to be covering is prosperity, because I think we all
Yes.
deserve a life that is prosperous, and that is to do with abundance in lots of ways, not just about material or financial wealth. Prosperity is a state of mind, a state of being. It is a pure state of gold. And so those are the three things that we're going to be covering. So every week we've got one lesson, one Q&A, second week, third week, another lesson, fourth week Q&A, fifth week lesson, and sixth week Q&A.
Wow. So anybody that is interested in this, there is a link in the feed below. So click on it and connect, because I think it's so important. And I love what you were saying about love, because I remember many, many years ago, I was working in the UK in corporate world, and I went up to a male colleague and I said to him, because he'd done something absolutely amazing, and I said, I really love you. And he stepped back in almost in that British stiff upper lip, what kind of thing, because he was an older gentleman. And then I felt a little bit uncomfortable, because of course we're talking, oh gosh, that would have been about 30 something years ago. So that definitely wasn't something you would say to a colleague, especially an older colleague, a male colleague, without any. And of course, now it would be a little bit easier. But I can remember him saying, no, it was, you know, and it was like, I was very awkward after that. And every time I would see him in the corridor, he's sort of like, I think she's after me. And I'm like, no. I loved what you did. I love you for doing it. And it was something that he had done for another colleague in the environment that we were in. And he wasn't out to get any sort of, I did this kind of thing. You know, he did it purely from the heart. And I wanted him to know that I saw that. But it sort of backfired on me, because that time he didn't really know what I was meaning as in love. And, you know, I think this is sometimes these misunderstandings that happen because people are not in that consciousness of, it's not just love as it's deemed, we've seen in Hollywood or we've read in those steamy books. It's much more than that. You know, and we can have so many different forms of love that we sometimes only associate it with TV, books, and that kind of thing in that way. So I think that's going to be absolutely fantastic. So is there anything else? Like I want to continually talk about this, because an expansive secret is a term for universal or cosmic wisdom, correct?
Yes, that's
okay.
right.
So with these cosmic wisdoms, because I know it's not just a singular, we then dig into like the truth. So it's like you're peeling back the layers of the onion and going into this. So without giving away the workshop or the course, can you share a little bit further?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yes, it's exactly as you say, you know, Debbie, it's about sort of peeling away the layers and getting to the truth, because, you know, that is one of the sort of cosmic secrets of the universe, you know, that truth has a resonance, truth has a power, and anything that is causing any level of suffering is really where we've misconstrued something, misunderstood something, where we've misaligned with something. And that's why I talk a lot about, you know, sort of coming back to the truth that is in our hearts, because, you know, hearts know the frequency even before we do. Our hearts know when something feels right, and our hearts know when something doesn't feel right. And so one of the things that I want to talk about and teach about is, how do we learn that? Because lots of people say, but I'm heart-centered, and what they mean is I'm a good person, you know. And I'm like, well, that's not what being heart-centered is about, because sometimes being heart-centered is about not being very good. It's about not being very nice. It's about being truthful, being real, calling it as it is, because sometimes it's the nice people that aren't very effective, because they're trying so hard to be nice that they miss Yeah, they're missing the magic, to come back to your cards. And there is magic in the world, and there is magic in learning how to imagine a better world, imagine a better future, and imagine what is possible from the creative space of the heart. And it's understanding how the heart works and understanding how it works in relation to prosperity, how it works in relation to love, and how it works in relation to our health, because we have everything we need within us. And when we stop, people are afraid to stop and go inside or listen to their heart or listen to the truth. And actually, they're doing themselves a disservice, because that is where the truth resides. And the truth absolutely sets you free, because it's a vibration. And when you vibrate on that level of truth, the fear disappears. The circumstances may not change. The world may be exactly as it is right now, but what changes is how we feel about it. And that is the real change. And that is a change that the world needs, as far as I'm concerned. And that is a change I would love to bring to the world through the work that I'm doing, including this course that I'm doing.
It's funny. I remember many years ago saying to my mom that I loved her, but I didn't like her at that moment. And she got very upset with me. What do you mean you don't like me? And I said, hang on a minute, Mom. Would you rather I said I liked you and I didn't love you? Because I would rather I loved you, but I really don't like what you're doing at the moment. It's, doing this or that or whatever. And I think this is where, again, we get caught up in this whole concept of, we have to like somebody, we have to this or that or whatever. And, in that moment, I loved my mother, but I didn't like what was transpiring. And I had to share that, but I didn't want to say, I hate what you're doing or, whatever it was. I just needed her to be in awareness of this. And I think this sometimes is where we individuals, when we hear something like that we go, oh, I've done something wrong, or oh, I'm not loved anymore, or things like that. So I think this is going to be it sounds like an absolutely amazing course. And it again starts on October the 21st.
That's right.
And that's a Wednesday evening for any of you that are looking at your calendars at the moment. It's a Wednesday evening. And if you're in the UK, that'll be from 6 to 7 p.m. And if I'm in Ontario, so that's Eastern, that's 1 to 2 p.m. So you've worked this out so that it'll connect across the borders, if you like, so that people can join in and do this. I love that. And at the moment, what we tend to, I've shared this with a lot of people, and I've shared it with myself a lot, is this is a time where we need to walk our talk.
Yeah.
We need to step into it with love, from the heart, and with pure, unadulterated integrity.
Yes.
And I love that's what you're doing. You're bringing your experiences, your work, to share it with others, to let them have the opportunity, I use that word, that opportunity to see for themselves the transformation that you can, if you're ready. But, and I love it's over 6 weeks, because I do feel that sometimes when people do something like that, they think, oh, give me the easy button. Let me hit the easy button. Yeah. This is why I think we reach so quickly for the headache pill or the flu remedy or whatever it is, rather than going, okay, why is this happening with me? What am I not doing here? Am I looking after myself physically or spiritually or whatever? So I love that it's over this transformation of 6 weeks as well. So is there anything else you want to share at this stage? Anything that we've missed? Because I know we've sort of gone off in heart-centered love here to play, and I've loved it that you've taken time to be here and share with us all. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Debbie. It's been an absolute pleasure. And it's one of those things that it's been a lovely conversation, and there's always so much more that you can share, that I can share. And I think our conversation, will touch the lives of those that need to hear it, whenever that it might be, because sometimes it's not always immediate. And so, but the only thing I want to say is that, I really feel that it's time for a heart renaissance, and I really invite people to really begin to look at heart and love, and all of what it means, all the qualities of the heart, and the importance of tuning into them, coming back to these qualities, and growing from that space, so that we move away from fear and into love. We move away from polarization into connection. We stop feeling so alone and isolated, and recognize that connection isn't about the people we see every day. Connection is about how we feel, the people we feel. If we feel a resonance, if we feel we're connected and supported through like-minded networks, and like this sort of community here. And I have a community as well that, I'd love you to join, and anyone else.
Thank you.
It's completely free. There's just, different meditations and things that we put on there. It would be lovely for people to begin to see that
Yes.
It doesn't matter who we're seeing. We're lucky we live in a world where we can connect across the pond.
Yes. Isn't this amazing?
It's amazing. And it's time that like-minded people came together and grew stronger, and brought out the heart renaissance, because that's what the world needs.
So I have anybody that's tuning in now, please, when we're finished, re-listen to this, because it's an amazing chat that we've had, this conversation. And anybody that would like to find out about Hema's online course, you'll see it underneath in the feed, Expansive Secrets online course, and then Heart Realignment is one there, and then her website, which is there as well. And I love the fact, the synchronicity of timing for this. And I do believe, yes, this is about kindness to our heart and to the hearts of others at this time in our world. We're being given this opportunity. And I know people talk about the new normal. I'm not ready to go to a new normal, but I think this is a normal that is within us that we've maybe forgotten.
Yes.
And now we're having that little flicker of the light going on, and then maybe it goes down and then goes back on again, and then goes down a bit. So I love that this is what you're doing. So again, just to reconnect on that, the course starts on October the 21st. It's called Expansive Secrets to the Universe. It's with Hema, and the link is below. So I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to suggest, I'm going to tell you, sign up for it. You're not going to lose anything, but you're going to gain everything, because this here is something that is needed for all of us. And thank you for inviting me to your community. I would definitely be part of that.
Wonderful.
So anything else before I just do the roundup here for everyone?
No, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Real pleasure.
So join me next Monday at noon Eastern, when I have another amazing guest here, and we share the positive by raising the vibration. And just a quick flash here, Ida Mae Keatley, who's just popped on here to say hi. Her and I on Thursday, October the 15th, so that's this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Ida Keatley is a renowned clairvoyant medium. She'll be joining me, and we'll be offering free mini readings within the group. It's an exclusive Facebook group called The Sharing Space. Debbie A. Anderson, The Sharing Space. And yes, you have to go through a little bit of a protocol to join that group. And the reason being, we want to keep you safe. We want this as an exclusive group. So if you're not willing to answer the questions, then please don't even try and sign up, because you will not get through the gated doors. So we start at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to be doing it for about an hour, maybe a bit longer. Sometimes we go on for a couple of hours, because more and more people come on board. So get there early and sign up. So my guests for the next few weeks, on October the 16th, I have Karen Holton with Quantum Health Transformation. That's our conversation. let me quickly go here. On the 26th of October, Shelley Rusky's from Fine Herbs in Windsor, my local go-to girl, is going to be giving us a Healthy Winter 101. So she will be offering suggestions to have no flu, no winter blues. So that, I'm looking forward to that. November the 2nd, I have Laurie Dulac, another go-to local from Palmer Calm, and she's going to be going through different oils of how to winterize you. So again, this is really important for us and our family. November the 9th, Ida Mae Keatley's back, and we're doing the second part because the signs to spiritual awakening, we soon and quickly realized we're not a 1 hour thing. So we're going to do the part 2 there. And November the 16th, I have Gina Benston back, and her conversation, I ain't afraid of no ghost. So anybody that remembers Ghostbusters, she's a paranormal, and she does a lot of this investigation. So quick reminder, if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, click the button below, ding, ding, ding. And then that way you get all of my daily sharings right in your inbox, and you can watch them at your leisure. And again, thank you, Hema, for joining me, for giving up your time. And as we said, Hema's in the UK, excuse me, so we had this opportunity to play here across the seas and share her. So again, October the 21st, your workshop. Sign up below. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. And have a vibrational week, embracing your true vibrational essence.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Bye.